Right, welcome back to what is the second in a series of webinars where we meet our partners here in the APAC region, particularly Australia. And this week, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Rob from Cast Solutions in Melbourne, and obviously Guillaume, or Gilly as I like to call him, also here in Sydney with me. So welcome, Rob. Welcome to the
Yeah,
webcast, I think we're calling it.
webcast. Yeah, thank you, Mike and Gilly. Yeah, great to be here and yeah, chatting through what we do with Click and Infinity. Glad to be part of it.
Fantastic. So tell us a little bit about Cast Solutions, Rob. What do you do, and what sort of organizations do you tend to work with?
Yeah, so Cast Solutions. The word cast actually comes from creative and strategic thinking. That emanated about 20 years ago when we set up pretty much a pure business advisory entity on the back of the, I guess, privatization of the utility um, conglomerates here in Australia, certainly in Victoria, the gas and fuel and the SEC. Mainly, we were assisting the service companies, the maintenance service companies, trying to win work, which led us into more strategic thinking around how you can win work. And from that emanated strategic roadmaps where you're tracking various metrics and so forth. And over the course of time, that led into, I guess you could call it data analytics, on the back of what people were trying to do with all those metrics and Excel and things like that. So we sort of moved into business intelligence in that way on the back of sort of business advisory, which we still do. So a lot of our core company or clients are from the construction engineering utility space, where we put a sort of an operational lens on what they need to do to win work,
Yeah.
and how they can analyze the data that they've got to understand, I guess, the cost of the jobs that they do.
Yeah, yeah. You're based in Melbourne, Rob. Do you tend to only work with Victorian companies, or would you go nationwide?
No, we do go nationwide. I mean, just certainly now, one of the good things about I guess COVID is we now operate over Teams and Zoom and those things. So that has allowed, and we had clients in various locations before. Queensland, the New South Wales. We've had a client in New Zealand as before, and more so in Victoria, and we had it in South Australia. So that's what we sort of cover. Yeah, we cover across our great land.
So you've been involved with business intelligence for quite some time, Rob. So how did you first get into it? I mean, was this something from university, or did you get into this later on?
Mm, It certainly is later on. I'm a chemical engineer. A
Right.
lot of the team are engineers, either network engineers or whatnot. So we don't really have this pure uh, data science, data analytics background, although we do have a data scientist in-house now. Um, but what the way that we sort of stumbled into pure business intelligence was on the back of a client that we had, RMIT, one of the large universities here in Victoria. We were engaged to assist with a lot of their strategic work on how they can increase the uptake of students getting. Uh, they call it work integrated learning. Their vacation work and things. It's one of the key parts of the courses at RMIT that they do offer is anywhere from 3 months to a year's learning outside of the course, when they do their practical pieces. So there's a lot of interaction with companies, with market sectors, and so forth. So we were helping them to try and build an awareness of how they can expand into various different markets for their students. At the same time, they implemented I guess, an administration system to manage that with all their, because at any one time, probably 15 to 20,000 students need to find work. So there's a lot of administrative overhead that just implemented a system. Like all these systems back then, this was probably mid 2010s, 2015. A lot of data, nothing was coming out. They couldn't really see any links between how many students were talking to Ford, how many students were talking to, Holden, and whatever, and trying to become for sort of more strategic about how they could offer things. So we used a lot of spreadsheets and did a lot of things to build some analytics. And then it was Easter in 2015 2015, we thought, this is ridiculous. There's got to be tools out there. And I guess that's the time when ClickSense had just come out. We spent the weekend, the team here spent the weekend just doing a desktop study. What are the tools out there? What are the ones that could easily be utilized for this use case that we were particularly looking at? And saw Click View initially. I thought, oh, that's probably a bit too difficult for the teams that we're dealing with. And then ClickSense was there, and within a couple of days, we had a dashboard up and running, with no background in analytics or anything like that. Pretty good at Excel, but nothing in this pure analytics space. So laptop under my arm, went back to RMIT on the Monday, plugged it into a monitor, no screen, just a computer monitor. Said to the team and some of the key stakeholders on the project, have a look at this. What do you think? And what I saw from their reactions got me going, saying this is something pretty unique. Initially, when we have meetings, they sit back in their chair like this. Yeah, it's sort of not really interested. And at the end, they were all looking forward and really focusing on what they saw. So we got on the phone to Click, to the partner network here in Melbourne, and yeah, the rest is, I guess, history. So we've been a partner now, well, it's 2015, so up to 9 years. Not from the IT space at all, although we do have IT skills in house now, but we more from the operational lens, from the business user lens, and how we can, fit the requirements of what they need via the tools that we offer. Yeah, so that's how we got into Click, pretty much, and into BI.
That's very interesting. The other day we were talking with another partner, and we were discussing how the wow effect with the customer makes a difference when it comes to Click. So the first time you show something to someone who never saw maybe a BI tool or Click itself, you can impress people by just showing how easy it is to deep dive in the information in the data. So the customer just falls in love for the tool.
Yeah, and we still get that same reaction. We still get that same reaction when we're dealing with people that, because we deal with business users. When we show them, the tool, they say, "Oh, it's very clean. It's not cluttered. It's very user friendly." Because you try and build, you build a dashboard that users can use. And it allows that to happen. So yeah, we still get that same feedback, which is nice to hear.
Back in those days, it would have the only other option would have been someone like Cognos, right? Because Tableau and Power BI weren't out at that stage.
Yeah, I think Tableau might have been. Power BI wasn't.
No.
But that's a different story, I guess. Power BI wasn't. There were the big tools. Yeah, the big tools, the Cognos and all the other.
Hyperion, I guess, was the Oracle option, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, and look, because we're doing a desktop study, we needed access to free versions. And so that was also limiting, but that was something important for us to showcase back to the client. But just the way that we could create what we needed to create within an Easter weekend, with no background in analytics.
Yeah.
Was the key sort of aha moment for us to say, together with our business advisory, our strategic, stuff we're doing, and with the KPIs we're trying to measure, this is now the next extension of that.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. And we know as a partner that you work with ESG a lot. How did you get into it?
Yeah, so
we should ESG is first, though, shouldn't we?
Yes.
So it's environmental social governance. Is that correct?
That's right. The reporting metrics now that a lot of companies should be and are adhered to, that they must report on those various aspects to show that they're a good corporate citizen within that context of environment, social and governance. So it's and more and more. I mean, we started off focusing more on the environmental stuff, because that's where I guess a lot of our background is with engineers and renewable energy comes into play. And then we got to thinking, well, if we're capturing that data, capturing the social and governance data is just an extension of that. So it was around also the concept of providing a solution to clients. So not just, call us up, we've got a certain ERP system or a certain accounting system. We want dashboards. We wanted to provide a solution around, a couple of the key things that are happening out in the market at the moment. And ESG is one of them. And it falls on the back of the work that we've done with a couple of key clients to date in that area.
Fantastic. So in terms of your ESG work, Rob, is there anything that you're able to share with us? Because some of that story has been amazing. Is there anything that we can put out there?
Yeah, happy to. And the good story about that is that the key part of our offering is, of course, the Inphinity forms. So working together with the Inphinity team, and also specifically with Gilly here, just creating, I guess, a front end that really resonates with users in terms of what they want to do. We've created something, and happy to give a bit of a quick little snippet if time permits, if that's okay. Now I can.
Yeah, that
would be great.
Okay, I'll just share my screen. As you can see, it's a Click application. And we've called it ESG Insights, where we really gather data from a perspective of greenhouse gas, which falls into various scopes that people talk about. I won't go into any detail, but I've just sort of showing you this is how we've tried to capture the data. The actual energy, with a big part of that is electricity, and then water, and we've called circular economy is the waste. So that's, from an environmental point of view, this is what this dashboard really focuses on, the E part of ESG. And with all things with Click, everything is, you can slice and dice and click things and move along as you wish. So utilizing the latest layout container, we can actually have little help buttons here and there just to tell people what they're looking at. And if we move along through the various other screens, we're now focusing a bit, certainly on the greenhouse gas. We've got a lot of buildings, so we can see how the building consumption is going, which is linked to greenhouse gases.
So is red in this one? Is that showing that that's perhaps using more energy than the ones in green? Or?
So yeah, certainly here, that's the change from 2021. So we've just got 2021, 2022. So yeah, red is more and green is less in that context. Yeah, so you can sort of quickly see which are the culprits and sort of take action, but have discussions with building managers around, what can we do to improve that.
That's amazing.
I'll just go through a couple of other quick screens. Once you get into, say, the greenhouse gas, you can look at the various scopes, scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3. And here is, for example, business travel. Big, companies, their business travel has a big impact. So we monitor that as well. Even if they're doing global travel, we can monitor how things are going on a global sense. But if I quickly just move across, I guess, to where we've really worked well with the Inphinity guys, is what we call the carbon calculator. So what we do here is we allow the user to select various options through the dashboard, and then it goes away and then calculates the carbon emissions based on these emission factors, which are standard factors that government departments put out. So for example, if you want to focus on just your scope 1, you can select this, and then you can go down and select the various fuels that you're using in your emissions. For example, here I've got automotive gasoline and biodiesel. As you can see, these are the ones that I've just selected through forms. And then it gives me an idea of what their emission factor is. And that converts it from, I guess, your energy content into what the equivalent CO2 would be.
Wow.
So, and then that's used in the reporting. So that's all various things that we've set up using forms.
And this works all the way through to scope 3, because I think scope 3 is probably one of the most complex parts of this.
Yeah, scope 3 we focused on supply chain. We've got a sort of a proof of concept for one of the leading health departments who want to focus on that. Yeah, so it's really based on there's about 15 different aspects of scope 3, with supply chain being the big one. So we've used Inphinity as well to help manage that.
Yeah, fantastic.
This is a quick little example of fleet management. You can select your car in your fleet. You can see what the consumption is, and you can also then just add in, what's the latest consumption per year and month, either fuel or kilometers, and then reload the app, and it's all updated. So we've pretty happy with the way that Forms is looking within the app. It's very, very neat. A lot of feedback we've had is good feedback. They like the look and feel. So we're pretty happy with how that's sort of come together.
And this is a brilliant use case, though, Rob. What's this?
Yes. I mean, this is like your typical Forms input where you've got your scope ones you could actually do via inputs. If you don't have them digitally anywhere else or through any integration, you can add things, add the consumption as you go. We don't have much use case for budget planning, which is a big big use case for Forms, but we use it for example, this type of information, scope quantities and so forth.
So you're replacing spreadsheets and other kinds of systems.
Absolutely.
By putting...
Yeah, a lot of this data, as you can see, is monthly. So a lot of people do collate it in a spreadsheet. And we've said, well, we've got another offering that can actually have it all inbuilt into the administrative part of your ESG, which we call the carbon calculator, and they can just go in there and add to the various aspects as they require through the Forms interface.
Amazing.
Yeah, so that's what we've done with ESG. There's a lot of ESG out there. A lot of the times it's about just collating the data and building a specific report for reporting. But what we've tried to say to people is a lot of the data they're already capturing. You don't have to build new capture tools to get this all going. We've created a holistic solution that allow them to add the data as they need, but more importantly, to analyze that to see where they can change their behaviors because it's all brought into analytics at the front few pages of the app. So it's not just about reporting; it's about how can they do better, and that's the way that we've approached a lot of our solutions using Click, and of course now with Forms is how they can do better with the data that they currently already have.
Mm. Now, with a system like this, you need to rely on decent support both for your customers and the partners. How do you find Infinity support, Rob? Are we meeting you at the pass, as it were, or is there something that we can do better at?
That'd be very good. I was going to do a little bit of a side joke, but honestly, we've had really good rapport with Infinity all through the history of Infinity in Australia here. We do business with people that we do good, we feel comfortable with, either as a supplier or as a client, and we just even when we talk to to Maria up in Europe and the others there, we always feel that our questions are respected, and we always get quick answers to things, and we enjoy the philosophy that you guys have as well, and to have people on the ground here in Australia is also very beneficial, we've found. So that's been very good.
Yeah, I reckon it helps with the time zones.
Yeah, it does, and it just does. I mean, there's no you can't sort of deny that.
I was going to move on now. I mean, everyone's talking about AI, Rob, but even Gilly's talking about AI now. And one of our customers was last week. Are you coming across this? Are you buying into it? Are you beginning to find uses of it?
Yeah, we're certainly coming across it.
Yeah.
The way we're approaching it, and it's pretty exciting, is that we also offer another solution called Safety Insights, which is using Click over the top of a safety tool, and we are looking at the use of images, photos, to verify data that's been captured in this tool. For example, you might have credentials, a contractor's credentials, driver's license, forklift license, any other license, and he or she might say, yeah, that's the expiry date, and they type it in the system, and they have to upload their license, and everything should be hunky-dory. And what we've developed is the way that if when the photo's attached, it'll then go away and be read within a tool, and to verify that the expiry date on the card matches what they've typed in, and automatically then creates a sort of action if it hasn't. So that's the type of use cases that we're utilizing for efficiency with things around that safety product that we're looking at. Also, text recognition. When people are putting a lot of comments in tools that we read into Click, because Click is fantastic with reading in data and indexing the data, we now can also push that data into another tool to actually review the comments to see if it matches the other attributes of the item that's been entered into. For example, it could be a review on a product. If they've said it's a good review, but in the comments they might mention a few things that are maybe not so good, but they still give it a good comment, a good review. So we're trying to match that with this AI type concept, so you can actually get more insights into the of course, unstructured data, I guess, and there's Click Answers as well. We're sort of doing this on a smaller scale for specific use cases. So yeah, we are looking at it. We are using the OpenAI connector with Click. We are pushing things to Lambda functions using various other things and bringing the data back in on a solution-based purpose rather than a big generic solution, because that's the way we sort of operate it. But certainly it's there. A lot of people. The other interesting thing is, we've got people using Click and they're now saying, oh, can we just type in a thing and it'll tell us what what chart we should use and whatever it is. And we're thinking, yes, but you've got to make sure the data model is set up to do all that. So there's a lot of, it's on the hype curve still.
It's like anything, right? I mean, if you're putting the wrong information, or if it's picking up the wrong information that is incorrect on the web, it's going to be wrong, whatever it comes out of.
Yeah. So,
and have you found some use cases with Click Answers now? Not yet, but still just testing of it.
Not yet. I mean, we know what it can do, and it's pretty exciting what it can do. We were talking to a prospect. They're a small little company, and they do a lot of service calls for critical infrastructure around data centers and things. They look at the fire suppression or heating and cooling around those, I guess, those key infrastructure points. And there's a lot of hardware in there. There's a lot of PDFs and technical information, which is very hard to get their head around all the time. So Click Answers will be ideal for those sort of things. So yeah, we haven't tested it thus far, but I can see it being an interesting way of moving forward, where you've got that curated knowledge base for specific, with your specific information in there.
Excellent. Yeah. So Rob, if we think of Inphinity again, and obviously with what we've discussed so far on this webcast, if there was one thing we should focus on to help you and your business and your customers, is there something that comes to mind that maybe that we should be looking at, maybe putting more time in?
Well, I guess one area, and it may be a catch-22, is we're using a lot. We are moving a lot more onto SaaS environment, and one of the things that is always a bit of a hurdle is that if we bring Inphinity in, the data will still reside in the EU. I know there can be a hybrid version to implement, but I think still some of the administrative stuff would go to the AU for that to happen. I mean, we can do it, but we'd have to then manage the server. So if there would be a solution to have, I guess, like a mini data center that you guys have in this region, that would be ideal for us to scale up some of the SaaS things that we're seeing. So that would be the only real area I think that comes to mind specifically as we see move more to SaaS opportunities. But apart from that, no, we look forward to all the new releases and things that are coming out and the stuff you guys are doing. So there's nothing else that really comes to mind that we're seeing as something that's sort of hindering any uptake that we're seeing from here.
Yeah. I think you're right about the from a SaaS solution, but luckily we are setting up an AWS instance here in Australia. I think it's based in Sydney. So from really September onwards, when customers do use that SaaS solution, they can have that all their data kept here in Australia. So I think it's imperative. I think most Australian companies think that way. We're seeing exactly the same in the States. So it makes sense that we follow suit.
Yeah, no, that's good news. Good news. Good to hear. Great to hear.
Yeah, so you heard it here, folks.
Yeah,
right,
first you heard it first on this.
Said it now. We're in trouble now.
Yeah, it's
so I think just obviously being conscious of time as well, Rob. And I know you're a busy man. I mean, just come to the last question, I suppose. What's Cast's goal for the coming year, and how can we help you achieve some of those?
Yeah, look, we're on I guess a journey to try and create products around the stuff that we've been doing over the last 9 or so years on the analytics space. And ESG Insights is one. Safety Insights I just mentioned to you is another. In terms of a clicking, these are OEM products. So we are also an OEM partner for Click based on those solutions. So that's what we're really focusing on this year. And I see more and more value add for forms to be part of that as well. So I guess what we will be looking at is seeing how we can benefit from any other relationship with embedding forms in an OEM sort of solution. I know there's things that it can be done, but you've got to come up with a commercial model. So that's our key things for the next year, is to try and really scale that those products. Yeah, so we have something that's not just a consulting opportunity for various things, but also a product that we're happy to have and put our name to, and we've developed ourselves. So we've got some programming expertise in house as well now to get that all up and running.
I'm hoping we're going to have a few options to come to you to utilize what you've learned with the ESG side of things.
That's right. That's
how to get busier.
That's why we like this community that we're all involved in. It's good, so we can share ideas and the learnings and latest technological things that can assist with that.
Fantastic.
Rob, one more thing. From 1 to 10, can you tell us how much Inphinity impacts when you're getting a new customer? Like what's the impact of that in your projects or in your business?
Yeah, 1 to 10.
Does it help you to get more businesses? Maybe that's the correct question.
Yeah, so we've implemented Inphinity a lot from the operational side, not as a budget planning tool or something. From a tool, if you think about the way you can use variables and Click, but that's very limited. We have used Inphinity a lot for clients to actually input their own data, reload the app, and they've got a different view of different things, and they're in control of how they want to look at various aspects. So that's always been a key part of it. I mean, people can do it with Excel. You have an Excel and you load it in, but it's very, very clunky and cumbersome. So we've used Inphinity to make that process a lot more streamlined and in the hands of the business user, rather than relying on people updating a spreadsheet and then loading it in and having that reloaded. So that's been a core part of our use of Inphinity throughout the period, but more so now within the solution that we're offering. I mean, we could not offer that ESG solution without forms. So that's been that is if you're looking at it 1 to 10 there, that's a 10 we need to have it there. And I guess with all our other customers where we're using it to really make the scenario planning and various other aspects of their data input, make that more user friendly, that's probably been probably 7 out of 10 in terms of people saying, yeah, that's the reason I want it. So it has a good, when people see the power of simple dashboards, interactive dashboards, but then all of a sudden you can also then enter things yourselves to make changes. I mean, they don't know the changes that are happening in the back end, but they see they see the result of it, and they think that's pretty cool.
Or anything to make things more efficient and get off those spreadsheets, those
Yeah.
pesky things.
Yeah, spreadsheets and loading them in, and yeah.
Well, Rob, thanks very much for your time. Gilly, again, as usual, thanks also. But it's been great to have you on the cast, and yeah, look forward to seeing you again soon. And all the very best with all those projects.
Yeah, my pleasure. And thanks for the invite. It's always good talking to you guys. Enjoy it.
Thanks, Rob.
All right.
See you soon.
Thanks, Gilly.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Rob.
Okay. See you.
See you.